So the Blasters spreadsheet that I use all the time for these videos that I have linked in the description had a tier list for a little bit, and one of the top characters was Styx Mark 6. Now, I was a little confused because I knew that Troubled Waters was pretty good, but he just kind of seemed like a good spirit attacker, but nowhere near one of the best characters in the game, up there with the likes of characters like Emperor, Sapion, and Tanbo. Well, now that I have used him and given him the good, best sort of equips that I can, oh yeah, I can definitely see why he was absolutely rated that high, and probably might be one of, if not the best character in the entire game. So let's talk about that. Also, he has this normal boss Buster's medal, but then in the mod, he was given a recolor of Snaggerjag's Buster's medal, and it looks pretty cool, so team being cool. So Styx Mark 6 is an S-rank ranger yokai of the Slippery tribe. It's weird because rangers are usually pretty uncommon, and we've already done a second one out of 3 of these videos that I've done. And they've also, 2 of them have been spirit attackers, which is weird. Anyways, Styx Mark 6 is a pretty powerful yokai in all honesty. He has a base HP stat of 416, a base strength stat of 122, which is completely useless. He has a base spirit stat of 256, a base defense stat of 186, and is of the normal speed tier. He's a water element, as that you should probably be able to tell that. And his skill is Infernal Waters, increasing the damage of water element attacks by 25%. This is just a universal damage buff for him, as all of his attacking moves are water-based. His basic attack is Splash, a 50% a 50 base power water attack that attacks from far away. It's literally just the same thing as Total Demon, which is very useful because it allows Styx to do something when he's not doing what makes him broken. His first learnable move is Waterfall. Waterfall is a 60 base power 3-second cooldown, but 2.5 second cooldown when charged, and gives 12 soul meter. It has 200 base power when you fully charge it, by the way. This is okay, I guess. It would be decent if he didn't have 2 moves that are just better. His second move is Oil Spill. He drops a pool of oil that lowers foes' speed and move meter speed. Their movement speed is lowered by 60%, and their move meter speed, aka recharge, is reduced by 40% for 10 seconds. And it has a 35-second cooldown. This is just kind of bad, because movement speed is rarely useful to lower the enemy unless it's like Oni or Punce, in which case many other characters can just do that better. And it has such a high cooldown, and reducing move meter really just doesn't do anything because you're still going to get hit, probably. And he has other ways to stop the enemy from attacking, as we'll see in a second. His third move is Zap Trap. After placing it down, it takes around a second for it to place. It creates this giant little stun area that will be able to stun big boss characters for 4 seconds. However, with each subsequent use of Zap Trap that hits the enemy, they will be stunned for less and less time. It has a 30-second cooldown. This is usually just a kind of alright move, but because he has one more move that we have to talk about, and it works super well with Zap Trap, so I would recommend running that. That fourth move, and the moment you've all been waiting for, is arguably the best move in the entire game. That being his fourth move, Troubled Waters. Troubled Waters is a 10 hit with 40 base power for each hit, water attack that has a 20-second cooldown and gives a total of 70 soul meter if you hit all 10 hits. So what it does is it creates this giant tornado of water that will just keep hitting the enemy over and over for around 5 seconds total. This also will inflict the same sort of hit stun that like dash attack and fall back attack give when you hit the enemy like that. So basically, you can stun the enemy for about 5 seconds while dealing damage to them, which is pretty insane. However, it's balanced because if the enemy is doing something where they cannot be stunned, they will not enter the hit stun state for the entire duration of the move. I would say it's balanced if it weren't for the fact that if you were to interrupt them with something even as simple as Zap Trap for a millisecond, they will then enter their stunnable state and then get locked for the rest of the move. This also allows you to have other characters, such as Hinozal with Shocking Idea, be able to force the enemy into hit stun and force them to get stun locked. So Styx Mark 6 is able to do insane damage with Troubled Waters, and can stun lock the enemy. And if you were to do this at the start of the fight, since Troubled Waters lasts for around 5 seconds and Zap Trap lasts for 4, you can do tons of damage to the enemy and lock them in place for basically 10 seconds at the start of the fight because they have like a 1 second animation where they're like shaking it off. So Troubled Waters is insanely good, especially considering if you use it multiple times, oh lord, it's broken. His ultimate move is Ferryman Shanty, an 8-hit, 50 base power for each hit's ultimate move, which is just, you know, not nearly as good as Troubled Waters, but considering that you're going to get it anyways, it's pretty good. It has a 400 charge need, and, you know, hits 8 times. It's fine. It's good enough for what Styx wants to do. For equipment, I am running the Plasma Launcher. This is a spirit version of the Moon Shadow, which normally isn't really that good because spirit attackers don't attack that fast. However, Troubled Waters does attack that fast, so this will allow us to shred enemy defense for both myself and allies. And then for the Soul Gem, I am running the Cicada Soul. This increases move meter speed when attacking. I think it might go up to a cap of... The maximum move meter speed is 200%, which is 3 times faster. Which means that freaking Troubled Waters is able to get around... what is 20 divided by 3? I'm supposed to be good at math. 12 divided by 3, around 7 seconds. So a 7-second cooldown, meaning that at full Cicada Soul power, you are able to have 2 seconds of downtime between your freaking Troubled Waters. Oh yeah, Cicada Soul is insanely good, and it's very useful since, you know, the enemy is stunned for 10 seconds, and if you get Ferryman Shanty, that'll also help, because then you'll be able to attack so many times, it's genuinely ridiculous. Oh yeah, your move meter speed is going to go insane. There's quite literally not a boss that is able to let Styx Mark 6 get fully built up, because they will just die. The only one who is really an option is Wisp Man, which well, not Wisp Whisped Cream. We'll show him in a little bit. For our other members, I am running Hinozal Awoken for his 10% spirit up, which is pretty nice because Styx Mark 6 doesn't have any sort of self buffs. The maximum attack buff you can give, by the way, is 100%. I forgot to mention that in the Total Demon video, so it is actually better to run a crit damage soul on Total Demon instead of the Zazzle Boss soul. So I just want to point that out. It was pointed out to me, and I just forgot to mention it, so yeah. But it doesn't really matter here because Styx doesn't buff himself. He has the 25% water damage buff, but it's not going to reach 100%. We also have regular Hinozal Awoken with Blockbuster Beam and Shocking Idea for more stunning, and they're just giving me a nice 15% spirit buff, and then we'll top it off with a little bit of Princess Pearl, who is going to give myself a 10% spirit up for 15%, and then we have, what do you have? Sure, that's fine. You can run a Frosttail Soul to get more damage, but I'm going to be running the Whisper Souls because, you know, crit chance is going to do some insane things. I don't know if I actually run them in the videos I'm going to show because I pre-recorded these like a few weeks ago, but yeah. So anyways, let's see just how broken Styx Mark 6 really is and why he might just be the best yokai in the entire game. So here we have Ultra Shogun King. Now Shogun King is, again, like, he's one of the more difficult bosses, so he's a very good starting point to show off stuff. And as you can see, we can kind of just stop him from doing anything for the first little bit. And Troubled Waters is like, it's almost already fully refilled. So, oh yeah, Cicada Soul is definitely putting in a ton of work. The way that I think cooldowns work is if the move is already in cooldown, any sort of buffs won't speed it up, but it will apply the next time that the move enters cooldown. So, I think that's how it works, but I'm not sure. Anyways, the reason that this guy is kind of a pain is because Moon Slash stops us from building up combo and just resets it all, so we have to do it again. It's kind of a pain. All that effort is just kind of gone, but we've still done quite a chunk of his HP already. So we're going to Zap Trap, and then we're going to get a little bit of Splash in before we use Troubled Waters, and now we're going to use Troubled Waters. So, as you can see, not only are we doing a ton of damage, but we're stunning him for quite a bit. Now I get a little bit greedy there and use a Splash, but it's whatever, I have a getaway plush. So now, we're going to get another Troubled Waters, and as you can see, we're going to run up, then we're going to place a Zap Trap, get a little bit of stun action in, and as you can see, he's already just about ready to start trying to do his Blades of Regret, just like he's doing right here. So, the cool thing about having Hinozal and Hinozal Awoken is that they're strong enough to be able to help me get rid of the Lost Soul, so we don't have to let him go purple. Doesn't matter if he went purple, we'd still stun lock him anyway, but just makes it less of a pain. So, Styx Mark 6 is honestly very much so equipped to deal with bosses like this. And Troubled Waters is just good enough for like every boss in the game. So, oh yeah, he's kind of insane. Especially with all these little supports from Princess Pearl and Hinazal. Hinazal Awoken doesn't really do too much when he's not player controlled, but whatever. So one of the Hinazals does a Gratitude Beam, then we get a Stun, get a Shocking Idea, and now we do Troubled Waters. Now we're going to do Ferryman Shanty, and as you can see, he's took quite a lot of damage right there. Then we're going to use Troubled Waters, but thankfully, even though he jumps out of the way, his butt is so massive that we still hit him with it, so it doesn't really matter. And as you can see, Troubled Waters is already back to being ready. It's supposed to have a 20-second cooldown, but with the Cicada Soul, it comes back in like 7. So, it's really good. So there you go, Styx Mark 6 beat one of the hardest Ultra bosses fairly effortlessly. Got hit once, and that was only because I got greedy, so... And the best part is, that wasn't even optimized. We have both Hinazal's ultimates ready, so they can buff themselves, so... yeah, Styx Mark 6 is pretty powerful. But don't you worry, we're just getting started. He can get even crazier than that. This will probably go down in history as my favorite boss clear that I'll ever do, because it is so much fun to just humiliate him. So as you can see, I replaced the 2 Hinazals with 2 Blizzies. This is because Blizzy actually buffs ally move meter speed in her skill. I don't know if it stacks, and it's only like, I think 12%, but it helps me get just enough recharge in order to be able to humiliate Whisper. So we're just going to keep doing our thing. Troubled Waters, I'm going to do it again here. And we're going to try to build up our move meter combo, just so that way we can have as much move meter. I don't know if we even keep it up during it. I should probably explain how I think combos work. I'm not sure if this is exactly how it works. This is just what I've witnessed. So I'm fairly certain the way that it works is every hit of the combo you do builds up over time. And as long as there's not more than 5 seconds before you attack an enemy, so as long as there's like less than 5 seconds between every hit you do, every previous hit of the combo will stay. Because you can literally use like Swirlious or My Souls and drop enemy attack to 0, and there's no way you're attacking that many times in 5 seconds. So, over time, we're just building up our move meter combo, and eventually we're going to have 200% move meter recharge, so it's going to get pretty insane. And we're also going to be shredding through Whisper's defense. The reason Whisper is so incredibly tanky is because he has an insanely high defense stat, which no other boss has. You can also see that I have some gun items. This just also helps boost the combo because we can get some extra quick attacks in, so... There was just a little bit of optimization. I don't know if it even does anything, but... I mean, hey, it's here. So as you can see, we can just kind of keep spamming him with attacks. We're going to do Ferryman Shanty, and now we're going to do Troubled Waters. And as you can see, he really just hasn't done anything. He's done like a couple of Whisped Cream sweeps, and then gonna do this Wisp Fist right here, but I think that might just be the last attack he does. Like, seriously. He'll summon some Cream Puffs, but that's not an attack. Oh, he does one more Cream Sweep, but that's it. Like, he's literally finished attacking, and we're just going to finish him off. We started out doing like 90 damage per hit, and now we end off with 230 damage per hit. So yeah, the Spirit item reducing enemy defense over time is pretty insane on Styx Mark 6, so I would highly recommend getting that for him and allowing your allies to do some honestly ridiculous and probably borderline illegal numbers to these bosses. It's ridiculous. Okay, I lied. This is probably my favorite clip that I'm ever going to record. This entire clip, with this loading screen all the way to the white screen where we leave, is 1 minute and 40 seconds. It's going to take us longer to get to Swirlious Gold than it is for the actual fight duration with Swirlious Gold. So I think he's one of the hardest bosses in the game, and as you can see, we have 3 total demons right here. They're all computer controlled, and all we have is me, a staticking trap, and a barrier blaster for some recharge. We're going to make, you know, have you ever seen like those videos where they clear bosses in like 30-ish seconds with like Tambo and Nefariouses, like some little buffing type things? I'm gonna do that solo against Swirlious Gold with like no, I think we have an aura equipped, so I'm fairly certain we do. So this is not normal. As you can see, one of the toads just crit for 7,000 damage. So yeah. And we're going to just like keep bullying him. This is why I don't use auras in these, because With an aura, this is going to be like ridiculous. So, yeah. As you can see, he's already almost dead. He's going to do a Godly Glacier, and now he's going to try to do his Platinum Silver Gun. But one of the toads just killed him. Two of the toads just killed him. Yeah, the boss is already done. This is Ultra Swirlious Gold. We used an aura, so it is twice the power we're supposed to have. But still, if you get an aura and you can kill this guy in like 30 seconds, oh my goodness. Yeah, Styx Mark 6 is kind of insane for that. So there we go. Like I said, I recorded these like a couple of weeks ago, so I don't even remember exactly what happens. I'll do that later. But Styx Mark 6 is incredibly broken. And the best part is, whatever equipment he has in like his equip slot and not the soul gem slot, it doesn't really matter what you put there. As long as he has the Cicada Soul, he is able to do what makes him broken. So anyways, yeah, Styx Mark 6, I think he's pretty cool. I never knew he would be so broken, but yeah, Troubled Waters, I wouldn't be surprised if this guy got nerfed, like Emperor Sapion did, because he is genuinely quite ridiculous. I'm keep like trying to hiccup, it's weird. So yeah, Styx Mark 6 is able to stun the enemy, is able to like shred enemy defense with the right equips to let other characters do more damage, and just does great damage himself. So like, what more could you want out of a character? He is quite literally the perfect attacker in the entire game. If you just have like 3 of these guys, the boss is just gonna be like, there's nothing they can do. 3 of these guys and then like a Princess Pearl to like just keep buffing them. Yeah, gonna be pretty insane. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Go get yourself a Styx Mark 6 and then go absolutely bully every single boss in the game with this setup. Because like this team is probably my favorite team to play right now because they're just so good. They are actually just insanely broken, and that's mainly because Styx Mark 6 can just stop the AI from dying, which is, you know, that's just perfect. If I can stop my teammates from dying, it lets me be as busted as I ever could be.